1000 could actually outperform DDR5 6000. And that's in spite of the fact that the memory controller runs at half the speed once you go above 6000. But with Alan's help, we should be able to take that memory controller and boost it above 6000, getting overall better performance. So you're thinking sweet spot 6400 CL28?
Yeah, around there.
Let's put in an SSD. We chose this because it holds data.
It's a Rocket 5, those are fast.
Yeah, it's fast, it's a rocket. Look at it go, oh God. For our case, we went for the Fractal Torrent, which is built for torrents of air running through it. Okay, there's all your fresh air for the GPU right there. Honeycomb mesh at the back, top-mounted power supply, and nothing but airflow at the front. I'm just disappointed we didn't get to use one of the coolest features of this case, these 180 by 38 millimeter fans that would normally be in the front. But we're gonna have an AIO liquid cooler, so they go over there. For our good enough AIO cooler, we've gone with the Lumen S36 RGB, and we chose it because
Fractal's nice.
Fractal is nice. All right, Jake knows why we chose it. It's because it is a non-Asetek design, so you're not bound to their sort of patented how everyone else does it design. The pump is actually embedded in the radiator, which detracts from cooling less than you would probably think, because that's right where the fan hub is. Right? You weren't getting any airflow there anyway. It also looks nice, just like Fractal is. Oh, and we scratched it. Let's have you talk about your thermal paste while I mount this stupid radiator. We're using Splave's own thermal paste.
Splave 1 is my thermal paste, and it's very metallic, so it can be difficult to spread. You can either heat it up a little bit with like a hairdryer, or you can just He-Man it, push really hard with your thumb on the spatula and get a nice thin layer.
Right, yeah, see, for some people that's an option.
I usually use that option.
I think your forearms are probably about twice as big around as my biceps. For my effort, how much performance benefit do I get?
You're gonna see significant improvement in temperature, which will lead, if you use, say, PBO on AMD, you'll gain performance just from using better thermal paste.
But we're not using that today, are we? We're using this, a thermal paste that apparently costs tens of dollars per gram.
Correct.
And what the hell is this?
So this is our hybrid paste. It looks like normal thermal paste.
Sure does.
But we have a special blend of gallium and other ingredients that I will not disclose.
Sounds like you're trying to sell me fried chicken. We have our special blend of spices. There's salt and some other we're not gonna tell you.
So basically, it has liquid metal in it, and we're trying to give you the benefits of liquid metal without the negatives of, say, shooting liquid metal across your motherboard and killing it.
It being impossible to clean up.
Yes, liquid metal drying out and leaving you with no cooling. We have a backup layer of regular thermal paste, so it's kind of giving you the best of both worlds.
Let's see how challenging this one is to spread. I'll try not to use too much.
Okay.
It's expensive. We're gonna really target where the compute dies are here. Put a little bit up there for the IO die. There you go. Oh wow. That spreads super easy. This is the part where we break the traditional order a little bit. I want to put this GPU in, but why don't you explain why we chose the ROG Astral, other than because you think it's funny that you can lift it and I can't. I gotta put this down. Can you hold this? Thank you.
Obviously, just from what you were just saying is beefcake of a cooler here. ASUS is all about overclocking, so they support with GPU tweak software and stuff. They make it real easy for us to get all the performance out of these cards.
We have a bit of an unconventional cooling setup for this build. Fresh intake right here, all for the GPU, and we're pulling fresh air into this radiator for the CPU, and if our RAM gets a little bit warmer, then...
We'll let the PSU suck all the hot air out.
Sure! Hey, speaking of power supply, now is a great time to talk about our sponsor for this build, Seasonic. Naturally, a build of this caliber deserves the very best from Seasonic's lineup, and that's why we went with the TX 1600 watt prime unit. This thing is 80 plus titanium efficient. It's ATX 3.1, meaning it has the newer 12 volt 2x6 power connector. In fact, it has two of them in case you're building an AI PC or something like that. And as always, it comes with Seasonic's acclaimed lengthy warranty. It reaches 94% peak efficiency according to cybernetics and has very low ripple. It basically doesn't get any better than this, except for the version of this that has like a better fan in it from Noctua. But we don't need that today because apparently this is not going to be a quiet build.
No, we're not worried about that right now.
Neat. All right, let's get a monitor. Something for you to note is we are going to be running at 1080p for all of our testing today, because when you are extreme overclocking or whatever, you are going to want to run into situations where you could be CPU bottlenecked, so that as you increase the speed of your CPU, you can really see the differences and measure them. Oh my God, I'm dead again. Oh, I missed that, he's right there, come on, buddy. So we're getting like anywhere from 450 to 600 FPS. Once you get into really high frame rates, things start to get a little variable. So you can beat that, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, why don't you walk us through what you're doing?
Sure. Right now, just gonna raise the CPU clocks, fixed clock, no boost.
No boost.
No boost.
Oh,
So
well, that's not the meta I was quite expecting, but sure.
we'll just be conservative at first, and then
Sure, a conservative 5.4 gigahertz. We also increased the voltage a little bit. That made more of a difference than I was necessarily expecting.
maybe 600 to 700 now.
Damn, we're getting 600 to 700 FPS, and you haven't really even pushed it yet.
No, we could go further.
Okay, well, we should do that. If all this seems too easy for us to bother flying a professional out here, that's because everything we've been doing so far is the easy stuff that you don't really have to know anything to do.
Accurate.
I'm trying to say that the stuff that he knows is stuff we're gonna get to in a minute. Like, I could have done that. Can you give me the dum-dum version of what exactly it is you just changed?
So, memory timings.
Okay, less dumb.
Basically, lower number good for most part, except when it's not.
But some of them we tune a little bit, and some of them we're literally setting to less than half.
Biggest one probably is refresh interval. Almost always the max value here is going to be stable and okay. It will raise the temperature of your memory, which can kind of show you too that it's working harder.
And for the people out there, you know, who wanted to kind of learn this, how do they learn that 403 is an optimal TRF-CSV refresh cycle time?
Some literature will tell you your TRAS should be like twice your TRC divided by the square root of pi times 4.
Right.
But if you just test it yourself and lower it and see a gain in a benchmark or a gain, then that is a good value for you, right? So literature be damned. Try it, and if it works for you, then go with that.
What are the odds if someone had a 9800X 3D and they bought a really nice kit of memory that they could just
Plop these numbers
put
in.
these numbers in?
Pretty high.
Okay.
Yeah, if you had the good memory, decent IMC.
Oh, here we go, we're in. We got 100 more megahertz. We're out. Hopefully I don't get back banned. Or just like popping into matches and exiting them after I get killed a bunch. Oh, see, here's the thing. Sometimes you can have too much of a good thing. That was too much clock speeds. I feel like not all of this is gonna make it into the final cut, so if you want the extras, lmg.gg/flowplane. This is a rocket. Look at it go. Oh God, oh no, Katy Perry.
You told her your wife you would be leaving by now.
If she wanted someone who's punctual, she could have married someone punctual. There are a lot of religious types in the overclocking community.
No.
What the kind of question is that?
Are you okay in there? Lauren Sanchez, ow! Realistically, I'm sure we could squeeze a few more megahertz out of it, but the idea was that you legitimately would be able to follow along at home, and these are pretty attainable settings if you have decent hardware. So let's go ahead and do our after benchmark.
It's a little bit better.
How we doing?
780 average and 300 on the 1% lows.
Okay, that's
Actually-
not that much.
I mean, it's better.
It's better, yes.
We're getting into very high frame rate territory. We might be getting limited by more than just the clock speed here. Should we do like a overclocking dude benchmark for a second here?
You can
Like
do whatever you
a
want.
Port Royal?
Man, I remember when 3D Mark's benchmarks were like cutting edge. Like you couldn't get a game that had graphics that good, and now it seems like they.
They're pretty good graphics.
Did good.
We're a little above average for this hardware.
We've got a good score. Okay, why don't we see what we can do with a faster GPU? Just an idea.
Some fans going.
Okay.
It's better go faster, otherwise I think you might be out of a job.
Whoa, okay, hold on a second. Now we're Ted and Bill. We're excellent. I'm calling it here. 900 FPS.
Really?
I'm gonna guess
mean,
778.
795, okay, that is less more than I was expecting.
What was it?
And our
last one?
minimums are actually worse.
Well, that might just be margin of error. So now we're running Stellaris, which is like a top-down kind of real-time strategy game. This benchmark simulates 1 year of in-game time, and we have kind of our pre-made map here. It's very much a CPU benchmark, so we'll see what it does. But
We're getting only 51 FPS.
this is a very intensive game. Hey, that's like 10% improvement.
Okay.
Oh, lower number better?
Yeah, on this one. This is the time it took to process.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so then there.
Well, that's awesome. All you have to do is get a master's degree in f***ing around with RAM timings.
Or buy a PC for me.
This guy, the sales pitch. Always be selling.
All right.